So, alas, there really is trouble in River City. My, oh my, a pickle it is in which we are all adrift. Is there any ray of sunshine on Old Glory just now? I think so. If the United States of America is about anything, we are about hope. We are about the belief that the old, tired, oppressive, hateful, unjust, and ill-wrought can be cast off, and that new ways of being and becoming which fully liberate the human can be not only embraced but empowered. We are about bringing to life the knowledge that such empowerment is the gateway to our greatest healthy potentials. We are about casting off all that holds us back, about vision and progress, about making dreams come true. And just now, we must be about charting a course out of River City. We have not been careful, and therein lies our problem. Liberty requires guardianship, and for too long, too many of us have failed to behave as though we deeply appreciate the millennia of struggle and bloodshed and personal sacrifice of millions upon millions upon millions who never got to taste the freedoms for which they gave their all, and which we each enjoy every single day of our lives. We have taken America for granted, and now we've a battle to fight ourselves if we are to protect the treasures we hold. Every journey needs a guiding light. For us, if we are to journey forward, I believe our guiding lights must emphatically be respect, firmness and determination laced with kindness, definition of where we want to go, and dedication to everyone coming out of this a more sophisticated human with the advanced ability to fulfill their healthy potentials. In this first letter, I'm going to relate some things which could be taken as harsh, judgmental, mocking, demeaning, or condemning if you've a heart to so interpret. So I want us to do that which we have done throughout history. I want to borrow something from England and make it uniquely ours. J.K. Rowling gave us the term watcher. Now, no one seems to really know what the various English mean by this term, so for our American adaptation, I choose that touted by the humorist Arthur Marshall. Try saying that name 15 times fast. He associated it with cheer and thus disposition. One definition of disposition is the way in which something is placed or arranged, especially in relation to other things. Thus, my Americanized watcher signals, please be careful of how you arrange my meaning. I will never, ever intend to be harshly judgmental, condemning, demoralizing, or anything likewise which creates negative energy. Let watcher mean interpret things with as much respect, kindness, goodwill, and with a vision toward healing as is absolutely possible. Let watcher indicate seek to understand, not just to rail against. Now, my fellow River Cityans, down to the business at hand, figuring out how the hell we got here and how the hell we are going to emerge from this nightmare. The first thing we must not do, as we will by our psychic survival needs be driven to do, is to talk ourselves into false comfort. This will not just be all right. We have a 4-year struggle ahead of us. It can be all right in the end. Indeed, as the Chinese understand, disaster is opportunity. Perhaps this severe slap upside our collective head was necessary to get us on the best, most optimal track. So be of good cheer, but do not be delusional. We have a long row to hoe, and there is no place for apathy nor selfishness. Together we will stand. Divided we will fall. As we work through these monologues, I'm going to suggest strategies for getting out of this mess. Ideally, we need someone with media ties to help pull off an Inauguration Eve bash which will unite us in these efforts and give us direction as to how people can enlist in our campaign to keep America great as she has been for years and create the energy to well launch us towards success. One recommendation I'm going to put forward is about the abortion issue. It is time we put our foot down and said enough. You may not control us, you may not control our bodies, and this is such a private matter it does not belong in your legislature nor your courtrooms. That said, if you have a mind now or later, go to YouTube and pull up You Don't Own Me from the First Wives Club. Your buddy Hedora, H-O-D-O-R, has the best version of this. After you watch that, go to Let It Go from Frozen by Disney Music by Vevo, V-E-V-O. Now you have to watch You Don't Own Me because it'll lift your spirits, but close your eyes during Let It Go. And let the spirit of those songs be absorbed into your psyche. Let them firm up your determination. My recommendation for abortion is that we must follow the example of Susan B. Anthony when she was arrested for ignoring the fact that women couldn't vote. She voted anyway, and when she was arrested, she refused to pay her fine. We must stand together. If the right-wing males try to control us, we must organize to protect women as they travel to clinics. We must be large groups which stand by women and doctors as they undergo what may become illegal procedures, and we must be willing to be arrested with them if necessary, but refuse to pay fines. We will not finance their immoral efforts to control our lives. And we must make this commitment understanding full well that there are some very, very unbalanced and unstable people on the other side of this issue. But we must not go back to dark alleys or suicidal abortions. There are many, many decent, moral, respectable, non-Neanderthal men out there. You will have to help support us in the workplace, for if we must go to jail, we must not lose our jobs. There have been so many of you who have been not only decent and good and kind, but progressive and respectable and moral in this past year as you stood up for us and by us. We need that to continue through the next 4 years. And please know that we respect you as true men, and we love you for that. As I said, this is war. Though we don't want to be the ones who are violent, we must maintain respect and character and morality. But it will be difficult. But either we stand firm now, or we give up that which has been so bloodily won, and our daughters will have to fight because we would not. Abortion and sex deserve further conversation, and that will come in these monologues, for we do need to now wrestle with morality. If we've seen anything discarded in this election, it has been morality and regard for character. Without a solid moral core, no individual or nation can be sophisticated, healthy, happy, peaceful entities. But the old morality is actually quite immoral. There is a new day dawning where to be moral is to be humane, not self-righteous. From the womb through the waning years of adolescence, my milieu was Bandana, Ballard County, Kentucky. For those few of you unfamiliar with my grand metropolis, we were neighbor to Monkey's Eyebrow and a bit more than a stone's throw from Possum Trot. My roots are firmly planted in small-town America. Bandana, Ballard County, Kentucky confounded me, and it saved me. The society I observed and analyzed for 18 years and beyond is that which elected Donald Trump. So who are they? Who are these people who elected a man with no demonstrable moral core, apparent elementary understanding of national and international history, policy, problems, and strategies, juvenile coping skills, absolutely no diplomacy or tact or concern for his fellow human, and admittedly no desire to study himself for self-growth? Watcher, 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 triple exclamation point. Please heed this watcher alert. In order to vote for Donald Trump, I believe at least one of 4 things must be true about your character or psyche. For the first 3, I definitely qualify with, at least in this matter. Heed the watcher alert, please. You are more insane than sane, or you are more immoral than moral, or you are ignorant, or number 4, you are avaricious. This last applies probably most to his fellow Republican politicians who were willing to vote for him, and to the wealthy like Breitbart's owners. For the vast majority, however, I think it was some combination of the insane, the immoral, and the ignorant. Now, is it possible for me to say such things and to mean them other than harshly and judgmentally? Of course. Have you not ever said to a friend or a loved one, "You're being insane," and meant neither jest nor malice, merely kind warning, just stating a fact? But the other thing I will assert about Trump's followers is this, and this is the thing which should cause all who are sane and moral in this country to be willing to put our hearts, souls, and lives on the line to save ourselves on this brink of disaster. At least the hardcore part of Trump's supporters exist on a continuum with ISIS and the jihadists. They are angry and utterly lack the sophistication to comprehend why they are so angry, so they feel free to blame everyone who is not themselves, to blame other. They either passively or actively support violence and hate-mongering, They are narcissistic, and they have no grounding in reality. We're going to discuss that anger later in conjunction with two traits that I will mention. But for now, Bandana, Ballard County, Kentucky, and the Mid-South Christian white middle class of which it was composed split my spirit. I'm going to talk about my experiences of small-town America in these monologues. I'm going to share excerpts from 3 of my books still in progress: Whimsy Myths, White Middle Class Morality Myths, Most Excellent, which is about citizenship and moral values, and For Pity's Sake, which is about how we deal with vulnerable populations. That one seems a vital topic right now with the cruel and immoral nature of the Republican Party as it has dissolved into being. But for now, let me assert this. Coming out of adolescence, I concluded 3 things on which I have never changed perspective. Humans are damaged. All of us. Number 2, humans are truly basically good and desire more to be kind than cruel. We do not have a sin nature. And number 3, our damage often takes a primary role in shaping our psyches, thus our attitudes and behavior. So our goodness gets buried in the seemingly dominant insanity and immorality. It seems to me that 2 conditions exist in small towns which ultimately cause damage to be cyclical through generations and thus become embedded in soul. Those 2 traits are insularity and loyalty. As I said, in other monologues, we're going to discuss those 2 in combination with the anger, and where they come from and how they play out. President Obama long ago identified the phenomena in today's media, which has compounded the problem. Blogs, unstable and biased news programs with narcissistic goals like Breitbart and Fox, and the failure of the citizenry to rely primarily on mainstream media, which by and large still adheres to some core ethics policy, and which journalists still for the most part care deeply about, the truth. I would say this to respectable media. Where you deserve blame, take it and grow. But don't take blame that you don't deserve. You're doing that too much in this election. The insular, instead of letting the internet bring the world to them and expand them, have merely increased the size of their niche of ill-wrought and dangerous mentality. They have found large numbers of other equally damaged souls, which sheer volume comforts them and reassures them that they are right. In short, they never seek to question their reality, only to confirm it. But before we try to pluck that mote out of their eyes, let us look at the splinter stuck in our own. In the next River City monologue, I want us to look at the meaning of soul and morality. Then, in the third, I'm going to share some of myself with you. From there, you can decide if you wish to continue this journey with me. For now, I leave you with this exhortation. Stay in the pickle. Do not let it capsize and throw you into a riptide. We will reach the other side. If we're willing to work together, to work hard, and to sacrifice. I truly believe that. Watch your always, Christy.